Welcome back to the Rich Life Diaries. So today I want to talk about something that I think a lot of people struggle with, and that is respect. How to get people to actually respect you. Now, this topic has been blowing up everywhere lately, and I think the reason is because so many people are just walking around feeling invisible, feeling like they get talked over, overlooked, or taken for granted, and they cannot figure out why. So I want to share what I have personally learned about earning respect over the last 18 years of running businesses, managing teams, and dealing with clients. And honestly, just navigating life as a woman who has to figure all this stuff out the hard way. And I want to be upfront with you. Some of this might sting a little, because here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to hear. If people don't respect you, there is a very good chance that you are teaching them not to. And I say this with love because I have been that person. So let's get into it. Welcome to Rich Life Diaries, the podcast where we talk real strategies for creating abundance, building a business you love, and designing a life that actually feels good. If you're done playing small and ready to create your dream life, you're in the right place. So first one, and this is a big one, stop being available to everyone all the time. I used to be the person who would answer client emails at 10 o'clock at night, and I'd pick up the phone on weekends. I'd respond to messages within minutes, like no matter what time of the day it was. And I thought I was being a good business owner. I thought people would respect me more for being so responsive and reliable. But the opposite happened. People started expecting it. And then when I didn't reply at 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, they would get annoyed. I had literally trained them to expect instant access to me at all hours. And that is not respect. That is servitude. There is actually research behind this. A study from the University of Michigan found that people who are always available are perceived as less competent and less valuable than people who have clear boundaries around their time. Think about that. By being too available, you are actually making people think you are less capable, which is wild when you think about it. The people I respect most in business are the ones who are hard to get to. Not because they're playing games, but because they genuinely value their time and have structured their life so that access to them is earned, not assumed. So if you are the person who drops everything for everyone, ask yourself this. Would you respect someone who did that? Probably not. You would probably think they had nothing else going on in their life. Number 2, and this one took me a long time to learn. So saying less. I used to over-explain everything. If someone questioned a decision I made in my business, I would launch into this long justification of why I did what I did. I would give them the backstory and the reasoning and the data and the whole thing. And the more I explained, the less convincing I sounded. Here is what I have learned. Over-explaining is a sign of insecurity, and people can smell it. When you explain yourself too much, you are basically saying, I am not sure I am allowed to make this decision, so let me convince you that I am. The most respected people I know, and I am talking about people who run massive businesses, people with real influence, say less. They make a decision, they state it clearly, and they move on. They do not sit there trying to get everyone to agree with them. Psychology actually backs this up. Research shows that pausing for 2 to 3 seconds before you respond to someone makes you appear more thoughtful and more in control. And people who speak less but with more intention are consistently rated as more competent and more trustworthy. So next time someone questions you on something and your instinct is to go into a 10-minute explanation, just stop. State your position, maybe 1 to 2 sentences, and then shut up. Silence is powerful. Let them sit with it. Number 3, stop tolerating disrespect. because you are scared of conflict. Now, if you listen to my episode about the 5 things I stopped giving a fuck about at 50, you will know I am a reformed people pleaser. And one of the biggest side effects of people pleasing is that you let people treat you like crap because you just don't want to make things awkward. People treat you the way you let them. It's like training a puppy. If you let the puppy piss all over the floor and don't give it any training, well, it's going to keep pissing on the floor, and people are the same. A 2023 study in psychology found that standing up for yourself demonstrates self-respect, and others are more likely to respect you when they perceive that you value yourself. People learn how to treat you based on what you allow. If you tolerate disrespect, you are giving them permission to keep doing it. Number 4, follow through on what you say you're going to do. Now, this sounds so basic, but honestly, most people are terrible at this. They say they will call you back and they don't. And then they say they'll send you that thing and it never arrives. They say they'll be there at 9 and then they rock up at 9:30. And every single time you do not follow through with something, you are making a withdrawal from your respect bank account. It might seem small in the moment, but it adds up. And eventually people just stop believing everything you say. And once that happens, respect is gone. I am borderline obsessive about this in my business. If I tell a client I have something and I'll do it by Friday for them, it is there by Friday. If I say I will look into something, I look into it. Not because I'm trying to impress anyone, but because your word is literally all you have. And here is the flip side. When you are known as someone who does what they say, people notice. You do not have to announce it or brag about it. Reliability is one of the quietest ways to earn respect, but it is also one of the most powerful. People pay way more attention to what you do than what you say. And remember, actions are more powerful than words. We all know this. So if you have a habit of making promises you do not keep, even small ones, start there, because that is probably doing more damage to how people see you than you realize. Number 5, stop chasing people who do not value you. Now, this applies to friendships, relationships, business partnerships, clients, all of it. I used to chase. I used to be the one always reaching out first, always checking in, always trying to maintain the relationships. And then I would just get frustrated when their effort was not being returned back. But here is what I eventually figured out. Chasing someone is the fastest way to lose their respect, because when you chase, you are communicating that your time and energy is less valuable than theirs. You are telling them that they are the prize and you are just lucky to be there. So I stopped chasing a few years ago, and it was one of the most uncomfortable things I have ever done. Because when you stop reaching out, some people just disappear, and that hurts. But it also tells you everything you need to know about where you stood with them in the first place. The people who actually respect you and value you will meet you in the middle. They will reach out. They will check in. They will make an effort. And the ones who don't, well, they just showed you who they are. Believe them. I would rather have 3 people in my life who genuinely respect me and show up for me than 30 people who only come around when they need something. And the last one, and honestly, this is the one that ties everything together. You have to respect yourself first. Because here is the thing. You cannot demand respect from other people if you do not give it to yourself first. And I mean that on every level. How you talk about yourself, how you take care of your body, the standards you set for your life, the boundaries you enforce, the goals you chase, all of it. If you are constantly talking yourself down, saying things like, oh, I'm not good enough for that, or I could never do that, or I'm just lucky, people are going to take that at face value. You're literally handing them a script for how to treat you. Now, I can speak from experience on this one. I love compliments. And I used to have this weird thing inside of me that when someone told me how smart I was or how amazing of what I've achieved or whatever, I would kind of downplay it. I'd brush it off and say, oh, it's not that big of a deal. And honestly, I just thought I was being humble. But what I was actually doing is telling people that what I built did not matter. Now, I don't brag. That's not me. And trust me, my parents and my brother would knock me down 10 pegs if I did brag about anything. But I also do not shrink. If someone asks me about my business, I tell them about it proudly. If someone compliments me, I say thank you and I own it, because I have worked my ass off for 18 years and I'm not going to pretend that success just fell out of the sky and into my lap or it was just luck, because it wasn't. So self-respect is the basic foundation. Get that right and everything else falls into place. Because when you genuinely respect yourself, you stop tolerating crap from other people. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop chasing. You stop being available to everyone. And ironically, that is exactly when people start respecting you the most. So they are my 6 things on gaining more respect. Stop being available 24/7, say less, stop tolerating disrespect, follow through on what you say, stop chasing people who do not value you, and respect yourself first. And look, I know some of this is easier said than done. I have struggled with every one of these at some point in my life. But the shift that happens when you start applying even 1 or 2 of these things is crazy. So at the end of the day, respect is not something you ask for. It is something that you command by how you show up in the world. I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Make sure you subscribe below and I look forward to seeing you back here in a couple of weeks. See ya.